Hi, everyone at home. We are taking a look at another section of chapter 10 so we can stay paced with the book a little bit here as we wrap up the school year. We're going to continue working with equivalent ratios and compare them to each other in a similar way that we did yesterday. So remember, we filled out those ratio tables. We're going to do it again, but then we're going to compare two tables to each other and find out which ratio is greater in value and which one is less in value. So this is on page 180. If you could please have that ready to go for me. I'm going to start with number 2. Okay, number 2, we have two tables set up. We have 5, 6 is going to go in the top one, and then 6/8 is going to go in the bottom one. And so we're going to use that space to create some equivalent ratio tables. Just like equivalent fractions, in order to compare their value, what do you need when you have two fractions? What do you need in order to compare their value against each other? Common denominators, right? So you need something that they have in common in order to decide how they relate, right? So the same applies for ratios and ratio tables. The same applies for ratios and ratio tables. We're going to be using this skill that we already know about common denominators. Oh my goodness, this calibration is way off today. Please. Please don't. Calibrate the time. Oh. So you have to go just a little bit over in order for it to actually write in the space you want. So look at our denominators here. Oh my goodness. All right, forget it. It's all going to be in the same color.
Where did the 8 go?
Oh!
I think you're gonna have to.
I never have to use an interactive board
Do you
again.
need calibrating Colin?
I don't need calibrating Colin. No.
Not yet.
Your son feels unappreciated.
So this is what I want you to do. Sorry for the technology delay here. We're going to fill in this ratio table using this base ratio as our starting point, and then let's think of other ratios that equal it in size. So maybe let's pick a factor. What can we do? Times 2 here. What's 5 times 2? What's 6 times 2? So would you agree those are equivalent to 5, 6?
Yeah.
All right, keep going. Let's do a factor of 3. 5 times 3? Okay. 6 times 3? Okay. Let's do times 4. 20 and 24. How's that? Easy? Yesterday, I gave you like a little bit more random ones, and then you had to fill in the empty spots based on that common factor. But I'm not going to fill in the last one just yet. Let's go and do the 6/8 one. Ready? What would a factor of times this be? 6 times 2 is 12. 8 times 2, 16. Good. Now do times 3. 6 times 3? 18 over 24. And I'm going to stop there because I have enough information right now to make a comparison. Look at, is 20 24ths or 18 24ths bigger? What do you think? Is 20 out of 24 bigger or 18 out of 24 bigger?
18 out of 24.
20.
18 out of 24.
No.
20 out of 24.
If you had 20 out of 24 people here in school, would that be more or less than having 18 out of 24 people here in school?
Definitely less.
Are y'all crazy?
I
Yes,
think-
very.
I think we're all crazy here for a moment. How about at home? Okay, we're leaning on you guys at home. Which is a greater ratio, 20 24
20 24ths.
or 18?
20 24.
2024.
Thank you. So everyone, in your workbook, please, this is the greater ratio because why? 20 out of 24 is a larger value than 18 out of 24. Okay,
Wasn't it what?
fill that in. Just fill it in.
I'm done listening. Can we think of it as a pizza though? We have eight.
Sure. Think of it as a pizza, John
And we
said.
have 20 out of 24. Oh,
If you have 20 out of 24 slices, do you have more or less than if you had 18 out of 24 slices?
Plus, right, John?
Oh, boy.
Yeah, definitely less.
All right, quiet on the set. Let's move on to the next one. I'm going back to number 1. Going back to number 1 here. Remember yesterday I said, if you're given a relationship, what should you do? Reduce it what? To lowest terms. So that you can get the base ratio out front. Reduce 8/18. What do you get? Reduce it down all the way. Lowest terms, 4 9. 4 9. All right. Now let's use that relationship to fill in this missing spot. 4 times what makes 16? 4. So use that same factor. 9 times 4 is 36. So I'm looking at the values here. I could just keep going up, doubling them. I'm giving 4 times 3 or 4 times 10. It doesn't matter. But what I'm trying to achieve is I'm trying to find a commonality between the two ratios, right? Reduce down 10/24. What do you get? 5/12. All right, let's fill this one in. How would I get from 5 to 20? Times 4. 12 times 4? 12 times 4? 48. Do I have any common denominators yet to compare with each other? I don't. So I do have to find a common place to compare them. Where could I meet between, let's look at our denominators here, between a 9 and a 12? Where's the first place that a 9 and a 12 will meet? Think of your factors.
36.
Yes, at 36. So we have 36 all set up for this one. Let's do 36 for this one and see how their numerator compares. 12 times what makes 36? 3. So 5 times 3 is? Okay, here's the question of the hour here. Is 1636 bigger in value or 1536 bigger in value?
16.
Seriously, which one?
16.
1636 is bigger in value. Everyone at home got that?
Why are you using the star?
Because I want to.
I was just asking, calm down.
Okay. Thank you. Everyone from home saying 1636. Well done. All right, we're only doing here number 3. And then I'm going to let you do your part, your share, which is workbook 179. But here we go. At one farmer's market stand, here's stand number 1, a bag of 12 apples cost $5. Okay. At another stand, a bag of 10 apples cost $4. So we're trying to find the better buy. And how are we going to do so? By finding a spot to compare one ratio to the next, right? So here we go. Where could 5 and 4 meet? 20. We could cut right to the chase and just use $20 as a spot to meet at. But each ratio is going to have a different number on the top, right? How would I get from 5 to 20? Multiply by 4. So what would 12 multiplied by 4 be?
48.
So I could get 48 apples at this stand for 20 bucks. What about at this stand? 4 times 5 is 20. So what's 10 times 5? Hey, but for 20 bucks at stand number 2, I could get 50 apples. So if you could get more for the same amount of money at stand number 2, isn't that the better buy?
Yep.
And by better buy, I mean it costs you less and you get more. You don't need those right now. So for the little lines by number 3, explain which stand is the better buy and why. So we didn't have to like fill in the whole ratio table. We just did enough to get our answer, our comparison. Which stand offers the better buy? How do you know? Now for the rest of the class period, we're having our last phase 5 work time. But you also have 179 here to do for me. A couple of ratio tables. And you're comparing the value between those 2 ratio tables. So find a common denominator essentially, just like we did here. All right, so off you go. You're welcome to use this time for project or your homework, 179. There's 4 problems for you to do. And then I'm going to expect that your project is complete by tomorrow at math time. So even by the afternoon here for us, we want it done. You can take it home if you need to. You can go get a computer if you need to. You can go get, I'm going to get some construction paper if you need them from my room. But anyone at home have any final phase 5 questions for me?
I have a question about this assignment.
Okay, go ahead.
I don't really get it, so can you try one of the problems with me?
The ones that we did on this page are exactly the same. Remember that ratio table thing we did yesterday, Paige?
Yeah, but I didn't really get that.
Then I would rather do those with you than this because this is kind of one step harder. So how about you and I look at that ratio tables worksheet again, me and you, and then you can work on this afterwards and it will make more sense.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes.
All right, anyone have questions about phase 5?
I do.
Okay,
So me and Riley Ringwalski are partners.
yes,
So how do you want us to present? Because I'm online and she's in person.
good question. So each person is creating their own poster, their own kind of write-up. There's 3 things on your final project you need: a frequency table, a graph, and a data analysis part, right? And that's all for you. So you're just going to present your poster, your paper. And even though you're using the same data as, did you say Riley? Even though you're using the same data as her poster or her data analysis section might be a little different than yours, and that's totally fine. So
Okay.
Zoe, you can choose to, since you're going to be back here next week, you can record yourself giving that little 30-second presentation, or you can bring it to school and do it next week. So Gavin, Evan, all of you people, Leah, that are normally here. Who else? Parker, you can do it paper pencil if you want and just bring it next week and do it then. But I do want you to submit pictures of it before Friday so that I know you hit the deadline, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Any other phase 5 questions? Phase 5 questions? Go ahead, Katerina.
How long should the data be?
The data analysis part, a couple paragraphs. So just say what you investigated. Why did you choose that topic? What were your results and what do you think about them? So kind of a summary of your experience. There's no right or wrong way, I guess, to do it. You answer the questions that interest you the most. Isaac, did you have a question? No, I can pull it up here on the screen. What I would ask is if you are, instead of making a paper pencil poster, if you're doing a digital like Google Doc or Google Slide, share it with me. because it will be easier for me to access it and pull it up, grade it, all of that. Just share it with me. Good question. All right. Any other questions about phase 5 and or ratio tables? Paige, I'll send you an email here in a bit. All right, everybody. Off you go. Good luck. Have fun. Bye.
Biggie boy. Wow.